Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. A few more good evenings over that way. Distinguished guests, honorees, friends, colleagues, community members, welcome to the honorary degree dinner for the 45th commencement of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. 45 years of doing this. 49 years of being us and all of those things that entails, those wonderful predecessor institutions, those wonderful people that built this institution into what it is today. I'm glad that you all could join us tonight for this celebration of the achievements of our students, our faculty, and our honorary degree winners. Before I start, I just want to say, Nicholas, stand up, young man. Nicholas Marvel, stand up. I'm going to embarrass you, man. 13 years old, wanted to be here tonight. Not only did he want to be here, y'all dressed everybody in the room. Came in here in formal attire, has on the right kind of blue. You are the man. Got the hair, I'm jealous of the hair and everything. You got it all going tonight. Glasses that I should have on, but refuse to put on because I won't look as good as you. So I stand up here and I can't see, but I say that I don't read scripts. But anyway, I'm so grateful that you're here, man. It's important to have the next generation in this room. We're honored by your presence. Thank you. I'm going to leave you alone now. See, I did it in the beginning instead of the end. I would have messed with you all night, but you were so cool. I know you have a serious comeback if I keep messing with you too much. So thank you. So I know for some of you, it's your first time on campus. So you looked out the window and you just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that this university as so many people used to talk about in ways that just weren't so true. Because they had never been out here, because it's one of the hardest places to get in the world, but we're fixing that. In fact, that's why we brought in one of our speakers. I think he does GIS or something. We had to bring in someone that was an expert in that area so we could figure out how we're going to do all those things. So I'm so grateful tonight that you're here, that you made it, that you battled through that traffic, that you got through the Rotary, you made it to your university, and you know how honored we are to have you in our presence. This is our chance to get to know each other in a more informal setting. Tomorrow, with all its formalities and all that, doesn't allow for the time that we like to have the kind of intimate conversations that will happen, outside of the stage tomorrow. On that note, I also realize that everyone in this room is going to have a very early morning. And so, we want to respect your time by not making this a late night, especially for those of you who have flown in from abroad. Sometimes abroad in Massachusetts means outside of 128, So anybody that's come from outside of 128, welcome. We're grateful to see you. Thanks for coming over the border and hanging out with us here in the great city of Boston. You might need some rest, some time to recover from jet lag and all that, and we're going to be considerate of that. So tonight we're going to have a speaking program, but we're going to keep it short and we're going to keep it sweet. And what we're going to do is eat and listen at the same time during the presentations. Now, I know that's going to be hard for some of you because you're so formal. None of you grew up in households where you had to compete for the food or any of that, right? Oh, yeah, right. I know. We all know how to eat and pay attention to other things, and so we're going to do that. So forget everything you know about putting your fork down when someone's talking and all those kinds of manners. We want you to enjoy your dinner, but also make sure that we enjoy each other as well. I'd like to begin by welcoming our special guest, and as special as you all are in this room, and I tell you that over and over again, there's no one more special for me than my own guest tonight, my beautiful wife, Angela Martley. Sometimes I feel like I'm her guest when she comes into the room because I notice you guys leave me alone. You don't want to talk to me. You talk to her. I know, but so I'm her guest tonight, and I'm so grateful to have her. I know that City Council President Steve Murphy was here earlier. He had to exit stage left. He has 4 events he has to be at tonight, but he felt he had to be here. I'm also so grateful for members of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees, Dick Campbell, who's here. We also know that Ed Collins is on his way. Phil Johnston will be coming in very soon. And also, I want to say to our trustee, Alexis Marvel, thank you. Thank you for not only being here, but understanding succession and what that means. You brought with you tonight the next trustee in line who's sitting back here eating already. He knows how to pay. He knows how to take the orders and do what he's supposed to do. I love that. Keep that up, young man. Thank you for being here tonight. We're so grateful. Now, members of our Board of Visitors, including our chair, Arthur Mabbitt, and our vice chair, who came all the way across the country to be here, Selma Sachs. We're always pleased, they're right over here at this table. We're always pleased to welcome you back to our campus. Our alumni leadership that's here, our student government leaders, Provost Langley, vice chancellors that are here, deans, all kinds of derivatives of deans, and our executive leadership team. Thank you for all joining us tonight. Now, I'm also grateful to see my colleagues from downtown, 225 Franklin Street. I want to, oh, see, Phil, I said you were in there. We're going to be walking in the door. I just said it, that you guys will be walking in the door. This is almost like we scripted this.
We always make a late entrance.
Oh, there you go, there you go. Thank you and welcome. We're so grateful to have you. I know that our Senior Vice President, Marcelette Williams, is on her way, and we're going to hear from our President of the University of Massachusetts System, Robert Corrett, who will kick off this program this evening. So, President Corrett, come on up, kick it off. Thank you, man.
Let me start off by thanking the Chancellor both for hosting this event and being such a great host with his wife, Angela. It's always a wonderful time of year on campuses. I call it the season of celebrations because as we go from campus to campus and event to event, day after day, we celebrate what universities are all about. And that's our new graduates who go out into the real world in waves to make society a better place. The class of 2013 is no exception. Largest class in the history of the campus. Campus is growing, as are all the UMass campuses, pretty dramatically. We represent 70 to 71,000 students on our traditional 5 campuses, and we handle another 60 to 70,000 students through our UMass online program. So day to day, we're having an impact on up to 130,000 students. That's pretty impressive in terms of both the responsibility, but also in terms of what we hope to achieve by working with them and helping them to become whoever they choose to become. I too want to thank the trustees. You know, our trustees, as with most trustees at public universities and most universities in general, don't get paid anything. So we give them a few perks, you know, a meal once in a while, a drink once in a while, but having our trustees here, Dick Campbell, Ed Collins, Phil Johnston, and Alexis Marvel is really a pleasure for me. I've worked with the 22 trustees this year. A huge part of my job is keeping them happy and taking their guidance. The other half of my job is to keep the chancellors in control. Sounds easy. It's not as easy as it sounds, but we appreciate all that they do. I also want to congratulate the honorary degree recipients. It's, I think, always such a amazing milestone in one's life to be at a point when an institution wants to give you an honorary degree, which really says that they respect everything you've done, everything you've achieved, all that you've done to make the world a better place also. So to tonight's honorary degree recipients and in a similar vein to the Chancellor's Medal awardees, congratulations. Really pleased to be part of celebrating you at this event. We also want to remember, and you'll hear her name a number of times, I'm sure, during the next couple of days, Crystal Campbell, one of the young people who died during the marathon bombing. What we've heard on this campus and is something that is, I think, very heartwarming. It shows that the University of Massachusetts is a family, because what we heard from this campus was that what a wonderful friend she was to so many people on the campus. Some knew her well, some didn't know her at all, but she was part of this campus, and the campus came together and reflected on what it meant when somebody like that passed in such a horrible incident. And it gives me, again, a great sense of pride to be part of an institution that is a family and that wants to do the kinds of things a family does for each other, and that has helped each other achieve. And that's what we try to do on a day-to-day basis. I also want to congratulate the Chancellor on all that he's accomplished here. You know, we're approaching the 50th birthday of this campus, the 45th commencement, pretty dramatic number of decades. You can see outside in the physical changes what's happening on the campus, but that's just characteristic of what's happening internally too, in terms of the maturation of the campus. Maturation from a research perspective, highest research dollars ever achieved, approaching $60 million a year in research output, largest enrollments in history, growing at a rapid pace, SAT and GPA profile, some of the inputs going up in all directions, but at the same time, retention and graduation rates improving so that the outputs are going in the right directions also. It's a campus that is undergoing dramatic change over the last 50 years, and what Keith is doing with his team and with the help of the trustees is really setting it up for the next 50 years, so that it continues to do for the students of the future, who are very different in many ways than the students of the past. Keith will tell you, he's approaching a majority of traditional students on this campus, where 50 years ago, it was virtually all non-traditional students on this campus. So a very, very different campus, not because we've chosen to make it different, but because the students who choose to come here are a different group of students. And that the community that this campus is serving, the greater Baltimore region in particular, the entire Commonwealth, the nation, and the world secondarily, are all choosing to come here. And it's a very, very different campus than it has been, but it's a campus that will continue to do what it has done for the last 50 years, and that is transform lives. And that's what it's all about. I've been in education all of my professional life, taught as an undergraduate, taught as a graduate student, taught high school, went to graduate school after that, taught as a faculty member at 3 different universities, and has been an administrator for many, many years. And all of that is really aimed at what we all do day to day, and that is transform lives, make lives better for people. So again, very, very pleased to be here tonight. Congratulations to all the awardees. Thank you to all of you that make UMass what it is. It is a great family of institutions. I love being part of it for the last 2 years and hope to be here for many years into the future, board members, many years into the future. And as I like to say, tonight, UMass Boston is my favorite campus,
That's right.
And this is my favorite chancellor.
The great thing about that last comment is that he really means that. You know, he may go to those other campuses and he might say, well, when I'm here, that's what I mean. But when you grow up doing this kind of work in this kind of setting, and you set your heart there, every now and then when he needs a dose of that and what it means to be on the campus, he knows where to come. And we appreciate that. We're grateful that you're here tonight. Your presence matters to this campus, and we're so grateful to you, man, for your leadership. So thank you so much. Now listen, I saw what happened when the president came up. Nobody wanted to eat, right? But you wait till I come up and everyone's got their heads back down in their plates. I love that. So I'm gonna do longer commercials so that you can grab some food and they can take up the plates. We have a wonderful group of people working with us tonight to make sure that all of your palate needs and culinary needs are taken care of. Table of contents, give them a round of applause. So good they can take away China in a whisper, all right? So, Nicholas, you heard him saying that we're changing this campus, and that all of a sudden those traditional students to this campus, what he meant was people of my vintage used to come here all the time. Now, right out of high school, students are choosing to come to our campus. And so we're so grateful for that. The change because we're ready for it as an institution, but not forgetting those adult learners who want to come here as well. Now, thank you, President Corrett. Next up, I want to introduce someone who is such a tremendous, powerful advocate for this campus, someone who not only has a legacy here himself, but was born out of a legacy, somebody whose mom was also part of this great legacy called the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Our trustee, Richard Campbell, from the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees, who will have a special role in our commencement tomorrow. But tonight, he brings greetings from the board. Thank you.
Phil and Ed, did you just learn we didn't get paid for this? What's that all about? Well, thank you, President Corrett, and thank you, Chancellor Motley. How fortunate are we, the members of this University of Massachusetts Boston community, to have you as our Chancellor? Is he the best or what? And thank you, Provost Langley, and I don't see Marcy Williams here, but thank her as well for the extraordinary work that you do, for your intellect and your supervision of the academic work at this institution. Thank you, Chris Hogan, the Chancellor's Chief of Staff, and the Vice Chancellors, Charlie Titus, the best of the best, Ellen O'Connor, Gina Capello, Patrick Day, and Kathleen Tian. And thank you to the Vice Provosts and Deans. On behalf of Chairman Henry Thomas, who could not be here, greetings and best wishes from our University Board of Trustees. This is far and away the most exciting time of the year for any university. It means just so much that you've invited me to celebrate with you and your honored guests tonight. You know what? Nothing is more meaningful to the trustees than the students of the university. Nothing. And nothing is more substantive to the students than the successful completion of their studies and the commencement of life as contributors to society. That's what this is about. We are so thrilled to be part of that. So thrilled to be part of this university, and me personally, Chancellor, so thrilled to be part of this campus. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow we celebrate the great...
Yeah, we'll give him that round of applause. He's fired up.
Tomorrow we celebrate the great accomplishments of the University of Massachusetts Boston's graduates. We also celebrate our world-class faculty who guided them to this point and who were models of creativity and scholarship and service and leadership, individuals who inspired their students to achieve greatness in all that they do. We honor Samuel Chandler with the John F. Kennedy Award, whose academic accomplishments are matched by his passion for service and improving the lives of others. We honor 3 distinguished individuals with the Chancellor's Award for Teaching, Scholarship, and Service. Arundam Bando, I'm not going to get the rest of it. Can I just call you Bando? Arundam Bando O Padaya, whose hands-on approach to learning inspires students to meet their maximum potential. Paul Watanabe, very famous. I listen to him all the time. Who created and nurtured the Asian American Studies Institute at this university, making it unique and nationally prominent. Elizabeth Romer, whose scholarship has made an enormous impact on the understanding and treatment of anxiety disorders. We're also here to celebrate the honorary degree and Chancellor's Medal recipients whose lives and great work serve as inspirations to the class of 2013. James Gustav Guspeth, whose leadership in the field of environmental conservation will help us protect our natural resources for generations to come. Jack Dangermond, whose prowess in the field of geographic information systems and mapping will help us all find UMass Boston, who has impacted industries and urban design around the globe. Terai Trent, whose work with the Oprah Winfrey Foundation and Save the Children provides young girls in Zimbabwe with access to education. And Ari Nalmuldin Mohammed Jabari, whose valiant and persistent pursuit of human rights has and continues to bring peace and development in Iraq. I mean, wow. Can you believe that? What an incredible roster of accomplished people, each working to make the world a better place. It's no surprise, to me at least, that the University of Massachusetts Boston has chosen these particular honorees to shine on stage at its 45th commencement tomorrow. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and Chairman Thomas of the University of Massachusetts, I wish you all the best for tomorrow and beyond, and thank you so much for allowing me a few minutes of your time. Thank you.
Yeah, that Dick Campbell, I tell you, he's fired up and he's ready to go. He's ready to go on the road. We're getting ready to go out here and raise a whole lot of money for this university. And you see why we got this partnership. This guy loves this place. You feel it. The whole room started waving around. You didn't even want to pick up your fork when he came up here and started talking. The passion was just circling you like that. I love it, man. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Come on up here, Alexis. Say a few words to these folks. It's our trustee. One of the great things about this place is when you get a student who understands what it means to lead, they're not satisfied just leading in one area. They pop back up as president of your student council the next year. They start out as a trustee, they end up as the president of student council. We're so grateful that you're going to be engaged in the way that you are. Thank you. And thank you for being here tonight and for offering a few words. Thanks.
Well, so I'll be brief with my remarks, but first off, I just want to say that I've never been prouder to be a student here than I am today. I know we've already recognized my little brother Nick, younger brother Nick. He's getting old now, he's 13. But to have everyone here as a part of this UMass Boston community is such an honor, such a privilege to be standing before you all. So everybody, please give a round of applause for yourselves, because you know, my brother and I grew up in Taunton. He's still growing up there, and you know, came from a working class background. You know, I had a tough time in high school, didn't really know what I was doing. Spent a few years out of high school kind of traveling, figuring myself out, that good stuff. And I wandered around and I found myself here, and I didn't really know what to expect. You know, I came into orientation day and I was immediately sucked in. I was immediately made a part of this community. I joined Mala UN, then I got involved in student government. This year I had the honor of being on the Board of Trustees. And that's something that happened just from being a part of this university. And you know, for those students who, you know, are working 40 hours a week and who have other commitments, who have families who can't be a part of, you know, student government or different clubs in this university, it's still, you walk in here and you feel the kind of energy that is brought to this university by the diversity that we have from different ethnicities, different races, different religions, different walks of life, different ages. It's a really amazing thing. And when I went yesterday, I was walking along the Charles and I went up to the MIT building, and you know, it's a beautiful building and all, and I walked inside because I had to use the restroom, but I pretended to be a student. You know, I understand we're getting great buildings here, and we're moving forward and we're doing some pretty amazing stuff. But the work that we're doing now and the community that we have now is so much more valuable than any building could give for us. We need that, certainly. You know, our brick buildings are getting old. But what we have here right now, the community that we have, and the opportunities that we provide to students like myself who just came from Taunton and didn't know what they were doing is a really incredible thing. So I would just like to congratulate us all for being a part of this community, and I hope everyone enjoys the celebration. Commencement is always a great time of year, and it's a good time to reflect on what this university has given to us and what we can continue to give to it. Thank you.
So thank you, Alexis. We're so grateful to you and for all of your work and your contributions to this university. Thank you so much. And I noticed you still say Taunton. That means you actually did grow up there. Commencement Day is one of the most exciting days of our year for our university. It's going to be a beautiful, busy, and also bustling day tomorrow. And as excited as I am to participate in the ceremonies, I know from a few years' experiences that the day flies by like you wouldn't believe. So I'm grateful to have this chance tonight to reflect together on the stars of tomorrow's show, who deserve these moments of quiet appreciation before they hit the stage up in front of all of our graduates and their guests. One of these stars has already been announced. He's winner of our John F. Kennedy Award for Academic Excellence. Now, I thought I liked him because of all those other elements, but then I met his mom tonight. And she told me tomorrow, if there wouldn't have been any sunshine, her smile was going to be about 92 degrees out there anyway. And so, with the combination of the sun and her smile, as her son receives this degree and also is featured as our speaker tomorrow, as our student speaker, it's an amazing day for family. It's an amazing day for mom. We're so grateful. But it's also an amazing day for this U.S. Marine Corps person who studied at our College of Management. Please join me in recognizing the outstanding Sam Chandler. So Sam says to me earlier, he says, hey, Chancellor, I said to him, I just came from the graduate convocation, and the student speaker at that convocation was unbelievable. So Sam says to me, he says, well, you know, I didn't put all of my game in the text that you read or that's in the program for tomorrow. And he said, besides, I heard that you don't ever use the text they give you anyway, so I have a good model that I'm going to use to do this tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to hearing you tomorrow, man. Congratulations. I'd like to acknowledge our faculty stars. As was mentioned, this place is transitioning in a lot of ways, but one of the things that we never want to lose is our soul, our teaching soul, that culture and the ethic of care that just permeated this place and made it the kind of caring place that people wanted to come to because they knew that they would be taken where they were and moved to another threshold in their life of knowledge. And so I'm so grateful to our faculty. Those stars who are going to win our awards for distinguished teaching, distinguished scholarship, and service. Please stand as your names are read. The recipient of the Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Teaching is our great professor, Aaron. We're going to call you Bandom tonight, okay? Now, let me just tell you something. You see him everywhere. Students love him. He's chair of our Department of Accounting and Finance. And so I'm so grateful that you're here at this university at this time. I'm honored to be able to present the Chancellor's Award to you tomorrow. Thank you. The winner of the Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Service is Associate Professor Paul Watanabe. Where's Professor Watanabe at? Yes, you hear his voice everywhere, but also he's chair of our Department of Political Science, and Professor Watanabe is also director of the Institute for Asian American Studies at the university. He has a powerful story. When I love hearing about his family, and I've shared that, and I'm so grateful for all that he's done here. One of the people that when I came here to this campus made me very aware that it wasn't just a drive-by. Don't come here, you know, in a hurry to go somewhere else, because people like this care about this place and like that. So thank you. The Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Scholarship goes this year to Professor Elizabeth Rummer. Where's she in the back right there? Of the Psychology Department. Outstanding faculty member. We're so grateful to each and every one of you. Give them all a round of applause. And so now it's my pleasure also to recognize James Gustav Gus Speth, who will give the principal address to the class of 2013 tomorrow after we confer on him an honorary degree, Doctorate of Laws. We ask Gus to deliver our commencement speech because he's a tireless advocate for the environment, for sustainability, and he has some invaluable advice for today's young people who may feel hopeless in the face of climate change. His words will be an inspiration for the class of 2013. Gus Speth, the University of Massachusetts, Boston. All of us are especially proud to have you as our commencement speaker, and we're delighted to welcome you here to this university, to our beautiful campus. We appreciate you. So thank you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. So tonight, not only are we slowing down a bit before tomorrow's frenetic pace, we're also flipping the commencement script by giving our honorary degree recipients a chance to speak. Tonight, we get to hear about their lives and their work in their own words. I'm looking forward to hearing what wisdom they have to share. We'll begin with someone who has come a long way to join us this week, someone who's made his life's work to serve his home country of Iraq, to ensure safety and stability for all of its citizens. Earlier this afternoon, at our annual graduate convocation, I had the honor of presenting to Mr. Jabari our Chancellor's Medal for International Peace and Reconciliation for his work as founder and president of the Iraqi Society for Relief and Development, an NGO working in the field of development, humanitarianism, and also social action. Also for his work with our own John Joseph Moakley, Chair Professor of Peace and Reconciliation, Porrick O'Malley, who will even put on a sport coat for tonight. I know this is a special occasion. He's been working with his Forum for Cities in Transition. It's a privilege to be in your company tonight and today. Your life's work is just an inspiration for this campus community, and it's just begun. So please welcome Mr. Jabari to the microphone. Thank you. Metal looks kind of good, man. Thank you. Tell you.
Yeah, but it's a little bit heavy.
A little heavy?
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you so much for all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank, first of all, University of Massachusetts for what they are doing, not just for the students in the States here or in Boston, but in fact that you are doing a lot of change out of your country as well. As you are working through Professor Patrick O'Malley, as the change that we are making nowadays in Kirkuk, which is one of the hot zone areas or cities in the global, plus 11 more countries or cities. So I do appreciate really the work of the university, because it's not just they are building peace inside their community, but they are doing a lot of efforts to make a change and to initiate a change out of your global as well, out of your country story as well. The Forum of Cities and Transition, it was one of the biggest programs, in fact, I participated with my father in peacemaking, as I call him, Paul. Actually, it was something that really is starting to initiate the change within our community in Kirkuk, because that program, it was gathering the diverse communities background, Kurds, Arabs, Turkmen, Christians, Mandais, Sabis, Kakis, all the diverse communities background of Kirkuk. They were gathering all in a round table, and they were deciding and designing the change by themselves. It's not something like we brought for them and give them the strategy to make the change, but they designed the strategy of the change that they are looking for. Within their efforts, like it was just opening the door or the gates for them, how to make the change within their community, how to learn from other sister cities, as we saw, because the program targeting 11 cities and 11 hot cities, in fact, which is, we can call it conflicted cities. So the important part that there were a lot of knowledge sharing and experience among these cities, plus actions took place after these conferences. For example, when we finished the conference in Kirkuk, the security, General Security Director of Kirkuk participating nowadays in Northern Ireland, training workshop for the security and how they have to manage their security, especially as you see nowadays, because there is a lot of attacks and terrorism movement inside our country, especially Baghdad and Kirkuk. So this is one of the opportunity when such a program, in fact, are helping each other, the cities, and learning from each other. Plus, there was along each of these conferences, there should be a commitment, and these commitments, Kirkuk started really implementing these commitments. It needs a lot of efforts, in fact, and follow up what we are doing as an NGO through the support of Professor O'Malley, that we should follow up with them and to continue to push them to implement their commitments. Nowadays, Kirkuk, after these conferences, they are building a hospital of 400 beds, which is one of the outcome of this conference. Plus, there was a special department opening inside the security director of Kirkuk, which is working especially with the violated women, like a special directorate for protecting the violated women in Kirkuk. Plus, that there will be a lot of projects ongoing, hosting the youth and teaching them how they have to be aware about peace and how they have to build peace among their communities. This is briefly what we are doing through the program, and I do really appreciate the efforts and the big responsibilities you put on my shoulder, because here I have to go back and to do double efforts than I was doing before, and we keep working for our future and for better future of Kirkuk and better future for Iraq and better future for the global. So God bless you all, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you with us tonight. We're also so grateful that you're going to be with us tomorrow at our commencement ceremony. Now I'd like to introduce Mark Trent, who is a husband of our honorary degree recipient, Terry R. Trent. The wonderful, inspiring Mrs. Trent is en route to us right now. So she asked her husband to show up early to speak on her behalf. So we're lucky that he obliged, that he said, sure. I love talking about my wife and all of her work. So thank you, Mr. Trent, for being here. Come on up to the microphone and give us some words of inspiration.
You know, I don't know about inspiration, Chancellor, but I wish my wife was here, because she is one of the most inspiring people I've ever met in my life. And if you've had a chance to hear her story, she would inspire you. Tararai has a tremendous respect for education. It is the most important thing in her life. This is no joke. She grew up in a mud hut in a rural village of what was then Rhodesia, under an oppressive government. Due to her culture and her government and her situation, she as a young girl was not allowed to go to school, but she had this dream. She had this dream of learning to read. Just as a little girl, all she wanted to do was learn to read. And you know what? She taught herself how to read. Her brother helped her, and together she learned how to read. And you know, that just sparked another dream. She is one of the greatest dreamers I have ever met. But let me tell you, this honor that she is receiving here from a world-class university, the University of Boston, Massachusetts. I said it backwards, sorry. The University of Massachusetts at Boston. You would not believe it, never in her wildest dreams, and like I said, she is a world-class dreamer, that she would be honored with an award such as this. It is so incredible for her. I had no reservations about coming out here. You know, unfortunately, she would love to be standing in front of you tonight, and I would love to be out in the background somewhere. Because this is what she does best. She is an outstanding speaker. She is a champion for education. And she is a survivor. She will tell you, I'm not a survivor. She will tell you that, but she is. She survived tremendous things throughout her life. A war, an oppressive husband. Not this one.
We're going to have him read the bio.
But tomorrow you will get to meet a chance to meet one of the most incredible people on the planet today. That's, of course, my humble opinion. But when you get a chance to meet her, you will see that I'm not stretching things too far. You know, amongst her dreams was a college education. She has achieved now 4 degrees. She has a Bachelor of Science. She has a Master of Science. She has a PhD. She has a Master's of Public Health. These are things that she acquired in order to break a terrible cycle of oppression and poverty. But what's more impressive to her than all of the degrees that she has acquired, even this honorary degree, which is so impressive to her, 2 weeks ago, her oldest daughter graduated with a degree in biosystems engineering from Oklahoma State University. Her next daughter is enrolled in school at Western Michigan University. And her youngest daughter, a junior in high school, aspires to make it in the WNBA. At 5'2", I hope that somehow she changes that goal, but seeing her genetics and her environment, who knows? But this is what she strove to achieve, and this is what she has achieved. She has broken the cycle of poverty. But what I want to tell you tonight is something that Bill Clinton said about her the first time she met her. It's something that Nicholas Kristof, who wrote about her in his book, Half the Sky. And it's something that we all need to understand. It is so important. I want to leave you tonight with this old adage from Bill Clinton, and it's amazing to me that Kristof repeated it. Ability, intelligence, and talented is equally distributed across this planet. Opportunity is not. Thank you very much.
So we'll make sure we'll let her know that you represented very well up here tonight. Thank you, thank you. Finally, I'd like to invite our honorary degree recipient, Jack Dengermon, up. Now, he's a geographic information systems pioneer we're going to invite him to the microphone. But when he walked into the room tonight, you know, I was standing in one space thinking everybody was rushing over to see me. And I turn around and he's behind me, he introduces himself, and I turn around thinking I'm going to shake some hands, and everyone's talking to him, telling him how much he's been an influence in their lives. And I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you for being here. Thanks to all of you who just demonstrated why it was so important to have each of these individuals here at this institution at this time. Come on up and share a few words with us, Jeff.
Isn't he great? God, what a man you are.
Thank you.
Thank you for this honor, and also thank you for inviting me here to speak a couple words. I'm not exactly sure what I'll talk about, but I'll just talk a while and then we'll figure it out. First, I'm struck by this community. You're probably not aware of it. As an outsider, I'm coming in here and looking at you, and you are acknowledging each other. Do you notice it? Acknowledging each other, and it's making you feel good, and it's kind of nice. I just love this community, and I think you guys actually love each other, directly or indirectly. I can sense it, and I can understand under your leadership why this community is so strong. It's really nice. I visit a lot of universities, and I talk with a lot of faculty and board of trustees and so forth, but there's something special here. In this room, you could probably sense it, and it has to do with you. So I'd like to start off by acknowledging you because it probably makes you feel good. But it also is good footprints. It shows good footprints of good behavior, and for both you and your colleagues in the faculty and your students, it becomes infectious, and I think that's part of what a good university community really delivers. I'm kind of humbled by this honor. I'm not deserving. I don't come to it from an academic background. My parents were poor. They were immigrants. They were servants. And they worked hard to get me through school. I suppose that's a classic immigrant family history. They're not here now, but by any measure, they would have called me successful. Hard to accept that. And I like that idea. I've thought in coming here, you asked me to talk a little bit about my history. I had 3 little short things to share. First, I was very lucky as a student to find something that I was really passionate about. And I think part of the role of a liberal university is to allow students to find that thing. I don't really care what it is, dance or music or business or computer science or geography or whatever. I found computational geography. And at that time it was weird and nobody understood it, but I got very curious about it, and I just followed that curiosity, realizing that there was something in it, in the ability to apply geographic knowledge to problems. And at that time, during the 60s, the war was going on and everybody was talking about the environmental movement and things. You remember that, Seth. I mean, it was, you were too young maybe. But it was emerging, and I saw through quantitative analytics and mapping a way that we could actually bring geographic knowledge and environmental knowledge together and help us make more rational decisions. And that just inspired both myself and my wife. We started just working like day and night because we could sense there was something actually there. When we got out of school, we started this little company. Now it has almost 10,000 employees all over the planet, and they're evolving along these basic ideas of reason and rational thinking, trying to push for environmental conservation or better efficiency or better land use planning or more livable cities, all the things that my users do. We just support them, actually. So I found the passionate thing that drove me. My wife says drives me nuts, drives her nuts, but we both are pushing it. And if you can imagine these thousands of students out there tomorrow finding that little thing that gets them going, wow, the world could really shift, you know. But it's hard to find that little thing. I have a good friend. You know Yo-Yo Ma? He lives here in town, right? Yeah, I was with him the other day, and he was sharing intimately. Maybe I shouldn't share what he told me, but I'm going to do it anyway. He says, I have great sense of doubt about everything I do. When I first started, I was doubting all the time. Do you relate with that? He said, but the thing that distinguishes me, I also do. And I thought, oh, he had a long intellectual way of saying this, but basically it came down to doubt and then do. And that he did that. He had the courage to do it. And that I think is what really makes the difference in life in terms of success, is that being able to get up and make a fool of yourself maybe or whatever, but have the courage to do that. And I did that. I made a fool out of myself a lot of times, but I still went ahead and did it. And that is the second ingredient, I think, that faculty and all of us want to create in these new students. They have to, of course, have self-doubt. It comes with with the equipment of being a human being, but being able to move out, being able to lay down the fabric that allows people to move out, that's a big deal. And the third one, I read anybody read Sun magazine? You do? Well, it's really a weird little magazine, kind of a hippie magazine, but on the fringe. But in the last issue, they had something. Each issue, readers can send little letters, and they always announce the categories for the letters to feed into. And this one was, what was it? It was winging it. And people would write in winging it, what the words winging it meant. Did you read that? It's a very worthwhile reading. And doctors would write in saying, I studied hard, and then ultimately I had to start cutting people open, and so I just winged it. And a mother had a baby, and she didn't know what the hell she was doing, but she winged it. And a professional, a dancer just winged it. And this really inspired me because I've been winging it all my whole life. And I think what's captured there for students is making sure that they understand that they can experiment, that they can be creative, they can wing it a little bit, because actually everybody does that in making their lives actually work. And having, again, somebody said something about learn by doing or practice learning or something. This is very interesting right now. Allowing students to learn by practicing or trying or winging it and feeling good about themselves and getting acknowledged, back to the original story. I had those three things. I wanted to share those three things. This is a powerful university, I get it. You guys are it. I mean, you kind of are evolving. I think of it, I kept thinking as you were talking, a little mosaic of little pieces of glass. You're all different, you're all different, oddly enough. But you somehow are acknowledging each other's differences and winging it along, doing a pretty good job.
Now, somebody told me to watch out for GIS types. Now you come up here and you expose me, man. Winging it? Come on. Listen, before we conclude tonight, there's a few things that I want to do. First of all, I want to thank our wonderful chef again. I know you've had a chance to dig into that food, but also the catering staff and all those that have helped tonight. Table of contents. Thank you for doing what you do best. I also want to welcome one of my young men from the city of Pittsburgh. Happens to be a friend who's over at the table over to the right. I know we have some business to settle over the next few days with a team from Boston. We plan on doing it, but Dave Lucchino is here, good friend and someone who rival high schools, but glad to have you here, man. Thanks for being a part of this community. We're grateful to have you. We're all in for an early morning tomorrow, but I want to thank in advance our event staff people, Allie and that whole team. Thank you for all your leadership. And also the Chancellor's Office team that was in here tonight. I saw Jeanette and Kay and all this. Chef is here. Oh, I tell you what, thank you. Give him a round of applause. Okay. Well, I don't know if I want to do that. He wants me to announce that Porrick lost his hearing aid. So if you found a hearing aid, you got it? Okay, I said I didn't know if I wanted to give that back. So we all set over there? Okay. Oh, I know we are now. You can hear me again. Okay. See, now we know he took it out when I was talking earlier. So, we have an early morning tomorrow. Please feel free to stay if you want to. I don't plan on staying too much longer. I do plan to sit down and just eat a little bit. You can enjoy the view and all that. But I look forward to seeing our honorary degree recipients and the guests in the ballroom upstairs for breakfast at 8 o'clock a.m. Okay, the ballroom is in this building. If you need some help finding that room, 3rd floor, 8 o'clock, okay? Then I'm going to ask you to excuse them in advance. But there's going to be this group of people that are going to sort of descend on you, and they start snatching you, and they start trying to get you, and they try to herd you downstairs for pictures and all of that so that we can get out and start that commencement on time. Forgive them, please, but they are something else. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. We're honored by your presence. We're so grateful that you're here for this special occasion. Have a wonderful night. Thank you all, thank you all, thank you all.